Hello everyone, this is Chandu Nomula. I'm a Salesforce system architect and I'm very happy to share Salesforce CPQ journey with you guys. So today, in our last session, we covered what is Salesforce CPQ and brief explanation of configure, price and quote. In today's session, we are going to cover how to create a Salesforce CPQ demo org, and once we have the demo org ready, how to configure CPQ package settings, and we'll review 6 package settings out of 9, total 9. So we'll review 6 main package settings today. So first see how to create Salesforce CPQ demo org. So by taking this URL developer.salesforce.com and CPQ trials, we can create our CPQ demo org. I'll provide this link within the description so that you can take from there and create your own Salesforce CPQ demo org. So let's see. So I have already filled out. So once we have like that link, this will give you a screen like this where you need to fill in your name, email and role, company and everything. Once you have populated all the required fields by clicking registering and sign me up, this will create a Salesforce CPQ org. It takes a couple of seconds. Once this is ready, we'll receive an email to your inbox. So let's see. We got an email, and once we have the email ready, by clicking verify account, so this will take us to the created Salesforce org. Once we have the Salesforce org ready, once we are in the Salesforce org, in order to find the CPQ, so we need to go under the installed packages. So once we click on the installed packages, we can find Salesforce CPQ here, and by clicking on configure, we can see all the CPQ package settings. All these settings are grouped based on the category. Each of these settings will control different aspects of CPQ, and most of these settings are very critical for the Salesforce CPQ process. And if you can see, all of these settings will have its own help text, but I'll just go over one by one in detail and with important settings in each tab. So today we'll cover documents, groups, plugins and quote, order, additional settings. We'll skip line editor, pricing and calculations, subscription and renewals, because this takes a very good amount of time and I need to show you that like how we can calculate. So these 3 we'll cover in detail in our next session. So now let's go back to our document tab and see important settings under this. Under this document tab, we have 3 main. One is attachment setting. This attachment target setting. So under this you have document only, code and opportunity. Usually when a code document is generated, all these documents will store under the document folders in Salesforce. But if we select either code or opportunity in addition to the document folders, your code document will be stored based on the selection of your parent object from the attachment target. So that is the advantage of using this attachment target option. Then the second one is enable multi-language translation. This is also one of the main setting. So usually code document will be generated in a Salesforce organization default language. By enabling this one, this will add a locally pick list to the document generation so that sales rep can select which language if they want to generate the document in one of the supported languages. Also, by enabling this, all the translated values stored on the generated document for the sales rep selection. So that is the main advantage of enabling this multi-language translation setting. And the last third setting, important setting under this document tab is hide document name. By enabling this one, sales rep don't update documents default name. That means sales rep don't have access, and they don't access to the name field, and it's read only if we enable this one, so that always your code document will be on default to the whatever the code generation name. So sales rep cannot update the default file name if we enable this option. So these three settings are very important settings under the documents tab. Let's move on to the groups tab. Under these groups, the important package setting is solution group enabled. Solution group enabled, this feature will be very useful based if business wants set some standard set of quote line grouping. For example, if business is selling products, finance versus non-finance products, so in order to categorize differently, group them differently, so by enabling this option, this will let you group and subtotal products independently of other quote lines and quote line groups. Once we enable this setting, so that admins can create a solution groups, so based on this setting, so admins can create a solution groups. These groups can be used by sales rep in the quote line editor. So that is the main advantage of solution groups enabled setting. So let's move on to the plugins. So the plugins is by name itself, you can tell plugins means if CPQ wants to integrate with other external plugins to enhance the CPQ feature. So this plugin settings where they have lot of plugins where they can store the script. Here the document, so this will, all this plugin feature let you integrate with the external document store external providers. Let's say if we want to integrate, if CPQ wants to integrate code generated document, if they want to integrate with the electronic signature external provider, then this is the where we need to store the script in order to integrate our code generated document to send for the signatures. So these are all the additional plugins which will require for the CPQ to enhance their features by integrating with the external plugins. So I'm going to skip pricing and calculations and subscription and renewals, and let's see quote. Under this quote we have couple of settings. Out of that we have main setting is primary quote keeps opportunity products and default quote validity days. Let's see, primary quote keeps opportunity products. This setting by name itself, that means always opportunity can have multiple quotes, but only one quote can be primary at all times, that is the latest and the greatest quote. So now our quote line items, I want my quote line items to sync from the primary quote, not from all the quotes. So I want, so that this will be helpful for the revenue calculation on the opportunity level as well. So by enabling this option, this will give ability to sync the products from the quote, primary quote. So whatever, let's say if I have on the primary quote, if I have 10 line items, 10 quote line items, all those 10 quote line items will be synced onto the related respective quotes related opportunity as a opportunity product. So that is the advantage of enabling this option. And the second option, important option under this quote tab is default quote validity days. This is set as 30 days. That means by setting this default quote validity days, sales rep can process the quotes within the quote validity term. That means if it is a 30 days or 60 days, once the validity days let's say if 30 days, so sales rep cannot process the quotes after the validity days. So this can be set based on the business rules, so based on the in each and individual business process. And the next tab is orders. Under these orders, we have two important settings: allow multiple orders and default order start date. So what allow multiple orders? By enabling this option, we can create a multiple orders out of single quote. Let's say, for example, if I have a quote with multiple line items per se, like let's say 10 quote line items, but I want two orders for my single quote. I want 5 line items in one order and 5 line items in second order. So this setting will let you create a multiple orders for the single quote. So this is the advantage of this setting. And the default order start date. So the name, it represents what is the order start date is going to be. There are two options. One is today and one is quote start date. So if we select today, means always your order start date is going to be the date of your order creation. So if we select a quote start date, even if you create a order on, like, after the quote generation, still your order start date will be picked from the quote start date. So these are the two options under the default order start date. So let's move on to the last setting, which is additional settings. In this additional settings, we have a couple of important settings. One is trigger disable. So trigger disable, by name itself we can say this option is mostly useful when business, like, if they want to do data migrations. Usually most of the business, they don't want to run on the backend triggers during the large data migrations. At that point of time, they can simply check this option so that all the CPQ related triggers will be disabled and they don't run on the backend during the data migration process. Once the data migration process is completed, we can come back and uncheck this option. So that is the one of the important setting. So, and the second one is multiple bundle view. So this multiple bundle view, under this we have wizard and classic. So that means you can view your bundles in two views. You can view your quote bundles, product bundles, in two views. One is wizard view and one is classic. In classic, all the product bundles, if we select this option, all the product bundles will be displayed together, only separated by a selection layout. Whereas in wizard, all the bundles will be displayed as separately. So that is the advantage of multiple bundle view selection. And the last and one more important setting is enable large configurations. Enable large configurations, and this enable large only, because this is one of the important settings. By enabling this, you can add multiple product bundles, but this will slow down the total performance. So usually this setting we need to make sure before we enable. Only if your org wants this enable large configurations, then only you need to enable this option. Otherwise you cannot, because as I mentioned, this will slow down your system's performance also. So that is the main, these are the main 3 settings under the additional settings. And one more thing in this order, this allow multiple orders, this is one of the main setting, but usually this setting is not available in all the Salesforce CPQ versions. This option will be available in the CPQ Plus. So that's what I just want to again add one point here. And in the additional settings, as I mentioned, this is one of the, because we need to think before we enable this option. So this is all about the 6 main CPQ package settings, and in our next session I'm going to cover line editor, pricing and calculations, and subscription and renewals in detail. Please stay tuned, and I'll provide you the link for Salesforce CPQ demo arc, how to create, and please create Salesforce CPQ arc and play around, and happy learning, and thanks for listening in.